Hello and welcome to Spectrum News at 4. I am Uyai Anyeka and coming to you live from the beautiful hills of Ibiakoran. Let's take a look at the headlines. Federal government task NLC, TUC, NECA on healthy, safe workplaces. Speaker Gbajabiamila identifies insecurity as threat to Nigeria's foundations. Plus, U.S. to seize and sell Russian oligarchs' property. Details of the stories and more in a moment. Federal government has called on stakeholders to ensure occupational safety and health standards in workplaces in the country. Managing Director of Nigeria's Social Insurance Trust Fund, Michael Akabugu, made the call in Abuja while addressing newsmen during a road walk organized to mark the 2022 World Day for Safety and Health. The walk was reportedly organized by the Department of Health, Safety and Environment in NISTF in collaboration with the International Labour Organization. Akabugu, who was represented by the General Manager, Health and Safety Department, Kelly Nwaga, said the benefits of a healthy workplace were enormous. He urged the Nigerian Labour Congress NLC, Trade Union Congress TUC, and the Nigeria Employers Consultative Association NECA to steer workers and employees for healthy workplaces in the country. Away from that, in a bid to boost electricity supply, the Federal Executive Council, presided over by President Muhammadu Buhari, has again approved $2.3 billion contract for the power sector. Briefing State House correspondents, Minister of Power Abubakar Aliyu said all three memos presented by his ministry scaled through, adding that the approvals were for the purchase of major electricity transmission equipment. According to him, the cost of the projects, which includes procurement of power transformers and construction of 260-kilometer transmission line in Kebbi State, will cost 21.7 billion naira. In another development, federal government has confirmed committing the sum of 5.9 billion naira on training, tooling and monthly stipends for the Batch C beneficiaries of the N-Power program in Kano State. Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, Sadiya Farouk, made this known at the closing ceremony of not less than 177 youths who benefited from the government's training on smartphone repairs and services under the N-Skills program in Kano. Farouk was represented by the Special Assistant to the President on N-Skills, Dr. Nesaya Mahmood. He said about 16,629 youths were currently benefiting from the program under the Batch C in the state, noting that about 18,042 had already benefited in the Batch A and B of the program. Farouk warned the N-Skills beneficiaries against selling their starter packs, which were handed over to them after the program, adding that it was conceived to rescue them from unemployment and transform them into employers of labor. In politics, some ministers who have unfolded presidential ambitions ahead of next year's election say they will not resign their membership of the Federal Executive Council. Speaking with newsmen, after the Federal Executive Council meeting at the Presidential Villa, Abuja, Ngige denied knowledge of the directives that aspirants should resign ahead of the May 30th presidential primaries and said he had not received such an instruction. In the same vein, Minister of State for Education Chukwuemeka Nwajiba said the Constitution permits aspirants to resign only 30 days to the poll. Recall that Section 3 of the APC guidelines for the nomination of candidates for the 2023 general elections stated that no political appointee at any level will be a voting delegate or be voted for the purpose of the nomination of candidates. Still in politics, the Minister of Justice and Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, has joined the Kebbi governorship race. He declared for the seat today on the platform of the All Progressives Congress APC. Malami said he declared after finally accepting the calls of the people to become governor. On diplomatic matters, Speaker of the House of Representatives Femi Gbadabiamila says the current security challenges in the country are threats to the foundations of Nigeria as a nation. The Speaker stated this when he delivered a paper at the School of Oriental Studies, London, as part of his ongoing official visit to the UK. The lawmaker, however, noted that the Nigerian government had responded to the challenges by taking measures such as recruiting personnel for security agencies and increasing funding for the police and the military, among others. Away from that, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo has expressed delight with Nigerian physicians in the diaspora over their contributions to healthcare at home. In a statement in Abuja, Osinbajo's spokesman Laulu Akande said the Vice President received at the presidential villa a delegation from Nigerian physicians in the diaspora. He explained that the delegation was from the US-based Association of Nigerian Physicians in the Americas and a team of Nigerian doctors from the diaspora, including those who had relocated to the country to establish private hospitals. Osinbajo said almost at every turn in Nigeria, physicians in the diaspora were contributing in terms of services in rural areas, with medical teams providing all sorts of care, and that the gestures had gone on for years. In education, Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, has said that the 1.6 trillion naira paid annually as tuition for Nigerians in foreign schools is huge enough to fix the problems of the nation's university system. ASU also disagreed with Labour and Employment Minister Chris Ngige's claim that he had done what many could not do to forestall strikes by university teachers. The union made the statement after a meeting attended by presidents and general secretaries of all affiliate unions of the Nigerian Labour Congress (NLC), convened to deliberate on the state of education, among other issues. In a separate development, the National Industrial Court has ordered the Police Service Commission to pay its ex-staff Pius Timila all the retirement benefits. Delivering judgment, Justice Rakia Hastrup held that the letter of dismissal issued to the claimant, dated March 27, 2019, was in breach of public service rule. She therefore declared the said letter illegal, unconstitutional, null and void. The court further ordered that letter of dismissal be set aside. To the judiciary now, where Federal High Court in Abuja has ordered that a contempt charge motion against 5 senior advocates of Nigeria involved in the $418 million judgment debt suit to be served on them through courier services. Justice Inyang issued the order for substituted service following an ex parte motion by Emeka Okoro, counsel for the applicants, who are 15th and 16th respondents in the suit. On electoral matters, Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) has revealed that the voter education and enlightenment about elections is an essential ingredient for a free, fair and credible election. Osun State INEC Resident Electoral Commissioner Professor Abdul Ganiyu Olainka, who made this known at the Voter Education Implementation Workshop in Osogbo, condemned that act of vote buying and selling, adding that INEC will not condone it. The Osun INEC boss stated that the commission has powers to arrest and prosecute any individual found within the polling station engaging in vote buying and selling. Meanwhile, INEC Director for Voter Education and Publicity Ayodele Victor has said voter education and enlightenment were critical to the mobilization and effective participation of voters in the electoral process. Away from that, the Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association of Nigeria says it will ensure that issues of casualization in the oil and gas industry are reduced to a minimal level. Pengasan President Festus Osifo made this known at a media parley with journalists in Lagos. Osifo, who said to ensure the attainment of the body's goal in security must be properly addressed. He added that insecurity may lead to many challenges that can also rub off on the 2023 general elections. On security, Defense Headquarters says the troops of Operation Handin Kai have eliminated more than 23 terrorists, rescued 619 victims, and forced 1,159 terrorists to surrender within 3 weeks in the Northeast. The Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Bernard Onyoko, said that while briefing newsmen on the operations of the armed forces in the last 3 weeks in Abuja, Onyoko said the troops' onslaught against the terrorists also led to the arrest of 19 others during the period under review. He added that the surrendered terrorists and their family members comprised 164 men, 367 women, and 627 children, who, according to him, have been profiled and are being handed over to the appropriate authority. Onyoko said the troops also neutralized a prominent commander of Islamic State of West Africa Province, ISWAP, Abubakar Dan Budwama, and scores of terrorists at Irina Wuje in Mete local government area of Borno State. Back here, the Akwa Ibom State Governor said it had resolved the communal crisis that erupted on Tuesday, April 19, 2022, between the Ilaje Yoruba settlers and the indigenes of Ibono in Ibono local government area of the state. This was contained in a statement by the press secretary to the deputy governor of the state, Ekikere Umo. According to the statement, the development was announced by the deputy governor, Moses Ekpo, in Uyo, after meeting with the chairman of the Ibono local government area, High Chief William Mpa, the representative of the paramount ruler of Ibono, Otsui Inyang, the village heads of the 3 villages and leaders of Ibono, alongside the Ilaje fishermen. According to reports, the 2 villages have agreed to bury their differences. Meanwhile, the government has commenced the distribution of relief materials to those affected in the crisis. In Africa, the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, says Burkina Faso and Guinea, where the military has seized power by force, have asked their West African neighbors for more time to come up with a timetable for the transition. This comes after the expiration of the Monday, 25th April ultimatum. Burkina Faso, through government spokesman Lionel Bilgo, said it did not intend to shorten the 3-year transition period before civilians returned to power. ECOWAS announced that it would send missions to the 2 countries before a forthcoming summit of heads of state at an unspecified date. Still in Africa, the Minister of State and Director of Cabinet of the Presidency, Obed Namisio, says the Central African Republic has adopted Bitcoin as its official currency alongside the CFA franc. The country has also legalized the use of cryptocurrencies. The presidency announced, according to reports, El Salvador became the first country in the world to adopt Bitcoin as a legal tender in September 2021. And the International Monetary Fund, IMF, immediately denounced the decision as dangerous for financial stability, financial integrity, and consumer protection. This move puts the Central African Republic on the map of the most courageous and visionary countries in the world. On the foreign scene, Hambleton District Council threatens legal challenge against government over plans to house 1,500 asylum seekers at former RAF base in Northern Yorkshire Village. According to the council's chief executive, the council is disappointed by the lack of communication with local residents in the North Yorkshire Village. Even though an asylum reception center would help end resilience on expensive hotels which are costing the taxpayer 4.7 million euros a day. Away from that, White House was proposed giving the government greater power to seize and sell the assets of Russian oligarchs and transfer their proceeds to Ukraine. The legislative proposal will be presented to Congress for consideration. It follows similar legislation recently passed in the U.S. House of Representatives. Meanwhile, Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky says Russia is using gas and trade as a weapon against Europe. He comments after Russia's state-run energy firm Gazprom cut gas supplies to Poland and Bulgaria while accusing Russia of using force to disperse a rally in occupied Kherson. The EU calls the move blackmail, while Poland says Russia is trying to divide Ukraine's allies. Still to come in the news. NFF empowers state football associations as ITO Federation Cup kicks off. Do stay with us. Thanks for staying tuned. On our business news, Federal Executive Council has approved the engagement of transaction advisors for consultancy services for the concession of Ajakuta Steel Company Limited and the National Iron Ore Mining Complex in Itakwe, Kogi State. The council also approved contracts worth 10.48 billion naira and $27.09 million respectively for the Federal Ministry of Power for the purchase of several transmission equipment to stabilize power supply nationwide. The Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, disclosed this to newsmen shortly after FEC's hybrid meeting presided over by the President, Muhammadu Buhari, at the council chambers of the State House in Abuja. Mohammed, who spoke on behalf of the Ministers of Mines and Steel, Olamilekon Adegbite, said the move breathes an air of hope into the long-abandoned piece of infrastructure. Still in business, according to the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPC's latest data, the subsidy on premium motor spirit, popularly called petrol, between January and March 2022 has risen to 675.93 billion naira. Also, the NNPC has informed the Federation Account Allocation Committee that it will deduct or recover 671.88 billion naira from April 2022 proceeds due for sharing at the May 2022 FAAC meeting. It described the amount as a value shortfall incurred by the NNPC, as the oil firm has remained the sole importer of petrol into Nigeria and has been subsidizing the commodity using billions of naira monthly. In health, World Health Organization says it plans to vaccinate 8.8 million Nigerians in May against yellow fever through its Eliminate Yellow Fever campaign. Reports say following sporadic outbreak of yellow fever in some African countries, World Health Organization in partnership agencies aim to vaccinate 78 million children and adults this year. adding that yellow fever vaccination campaigns in Nigeria will begin in May 2022. WHO also stated that it has deployed 10 of its consultants to provide country support through their African regional office, adding that these experts include epidemiologists and entomologists who will service Kenya, the Democratic Republic of Congo, Uganda, Sudan, and Nigeria. In sports, Nigeria Football Federation has directed football associations in the 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory to take charge of registration of teams that will compete in this year's ITO Federation Cup competition. In a circular, the Federation directed that the registration of teams for this year's edition of the country's most glamorous football championship should commence on Sunday, May 1st, and last for 13 days. It said submission of copies of completed players' licenses to the NFF should be done latest Saturday, May 14, while the competition in the states to select 2 representatives for the national competition will take place between May 15 and June 15. Still in sport, Leicester City forward Kelechi Iheanacho will be aiming to end his 3-game goals drought in UEFA Europa Conference League when the Foxes host Roma in the first leg of their semi-final clash at the King Power Stadium today. The Nigeria international has appeared in all of the Foxes Conference League games since dropping from the Europa League. Reports say the 25-year-old have made 6 appearances in the competition with 1 goal and assist to his name. On entertainment news, Nigerian investigative journalist Fisayo Somboyo has emerged a 2022 Fellow of the Reuters Institute for the Study of Journalism at the University of Oxford, United Kingdom. In a letter to fellows, Director of the Journalism Fellowship Program, Mira Silva, who noted that the competition was very strong, congratulated those selected. Report says Somboyo is one of the 13 fellows selected worldwide to participate in the 6-month fellowship program at the Reuters Institute. And that's all we have for you at this time. Do ensure to follow us on social media and subscribe to our YouTube channel, all of which you can find on our website, SpectrumTv.ng. You have been watching Spectrum News at 4. I am Uyai Aniek, and thanks for watching and have a good afternoon.